Keys with Manta Math, and this lesson covers Algebra 1, Chapter 1, Foundations of Algebra, Section 1-4, Properties of Real Numbers. Let's begin. So let's talk about the properties of real numbers. So the first one is commutative, and that is of addition and multiplication. And what it says is that changing the order does not change the result. So for addition, a plus b equals b plus a. That will always be true. An example, 7 plus 4 equals 4 plus 7, in which case they always equal 11. Okay, the commutative property of multiplication says that a times b equals b times a, and that is true. An example would be 2 times 6 equals 6 times 2, and both of those equal 12. The next property is associative, and that again is of addition and multiplication, and that says that changing the grouping does not change the result. So for addition, you have a plus b together in parentheses, again refer to your PEMDAS, plus c equals a plus b plus c grouped together. An example would be 3 plus 5 plus 8 equals 3 plus 5 plus 8, and both of those separately would equal 16. The associative property of multiplication says that a times b grouped together times c equals a times b times c grouped together. An example would be 4 times 5 times 3 is the same as 4 times 5 times 3, and both of those equal 60. So again, those are proven true. And the third property of addition and multiplication is the identity property, and that says that the sum of any real number and 0 is the initial number, and the product of any real number and 1 is the initial number. So for addition, a plus 0 is going to equal a. An example would be 65 divided by 4 plus 0 is just going to give you 65 divided by 4. And the identity multiplication property says that a times 1 is going to give you a. An example would be 24 times 1 is 24. Okay, there's also the zero property of multiplication, and that says that the product of a number and 0 is 0. So a times 0 equals 0. An example would be 45 times 0 is 0. It's just important to keep in mind that anything times 0 is just going to be 0. Other property would be the multiplication property of -1, and that says that the product of -1 and a number is negative of the original number. So in property terms, -1 times a equals -a. An example would be -1 times 17 equals -17. So let's do some examples. So we have 4 times 5x. We can distribute the 4, and we can find out that 4 times 5 is 20, and we're just going to carry our x over 2, so 20x. Our next one says 6 plus 8x plus 11. We can regroup this using the associative property of addition and say that this is also equal to 8x plus 6 plus 11. And then we can simplify this section, and it can equal 8x plus 17. And that would be our answer there. And then the last one, 7x times y divided by y. So this can also be split up into 7x over 1 times y over y, because if you multiply it across and at the bottom, it would give you 7xy over your y. We just separated it. And then we can simplify this y over y to 1, and so this just gives you 7x over 1 times 1, or 7x. You can also be given questions that have the following structure. They could ask, are the following statements true or false? If false, provide a counterexample. So, example A, for all real numbers a and b, a times b equals b minus a. So this is false, and we have to give a counterexample, so I'm just going to use two numbers, 7 for a and 5 for b. And let me just replace these. And then you want to use mental math just to solve. So we know that 7 times 5 is 35. And we know that 5 minus 7 is -2. And obviously 35 does not equal -2. And that's your counterexample. And then the second example says For all real numbers a, b, and c, a times b times c equals a times b times c. So if you remember from the table, we can say that this is true, and that is because of the associative property of multiplication. Because it doesn't matter about our grouping, the answer is always going to be the same on both sides. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please click at the videos on the right of your screen to view next lessons in the series. Also, if you have any math-related questions, feel free to send me an email at eleanor@mantamath.com and I'll be happy to answer them for you. See you next time.